Crazy.
Way to age us off.
Mm-hmm.
But we can continue moving on with some other Royal Rumble WrestleMania implications. Is Seth Rollins' injury? Seth Rollins came out and basically said he has a tear in his MCL, but is not going to go the surgery route. Is going to go the rehab route and try to be there for WrestleMania and be in line for that. And was confronted by Gunther, who we all think at this point in time has a big chance to win the Royal Rumble, has at one point has a big chance to be a main eventer, eventually take the title this year. But with Seth Rollins' injury, how do you guys feel about that? Heading into that, he's not going to be available for at least 2-3 months
Now,
and try to make a go of it at WrestleMania.
now let me ask you. Oh, I'm sorry, Brandon. I'll cut you off. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you, Brian and Lewis.
Mhm.
It's an MCL tear, so remember, it's not. It's still a tear, and it's harder to rehab without surgery. So me personally, I don't think he's going to be ready for WrestleMania. And if he is, I don't think the match quality, because remember, he's a worker. He wants to put on a great match. So I feel like they're going to have him off TV until they get more clear with the doctors and see where he's at progressively. But if he cannot wrestle, I feel like he's, obviously, I've never had an MCL tear, so I don't know what, but I heard it's pretty serious.
I'm actually very glad that you just said that because Seth was actually on ESPN MMA with Daniel Cormier, and Daniel Cormier asked him about the injury, and I actually have the quote up. This is what Seth said. He said, "Dodge the bullet. The ACL is intact. The MCL will heal with time. I'm hoping to be back at full strength in around a month. That's kind of my timeline. We're going to take it day to day. I like to be back in a month. I don't want to walk into WrestleMania and that be my first match in 2-3 months. That's not going to be good for me." And then he said, "I want to be able to get in there, test the wheels, and make sure we're in a good place. So we'll see how it goes. I'm happy we dodged the bullet and wasn't anything too serious that wasn't going to put me on the shelf for 6 to 9 months." So his his goals are up there to come back within a month. So knowing Seth Rollins, and I'm not sure if it was the same knee injury that he had around during WrestleMania 33 when he was in that program with Triple H.
I think it was a different knee.
It was a different knee.
Yeah, it was a different knee.
But as far as pushing through pain and amping up the rehab, I wouldn't put it past Seth Rollins to be back in time for WrestleMania. Seeing as it's WrestleMania and arguably what the story that they possibly have planned with your number one guy in CM Punk.
That's right.
Just that alone, with that story alone, I think it's going to motivate him to be back in time.
Listen, I don't want to cut you guys, Daniel. I know you were about to go, but I'm praying he's back healthy because if he's not healthy, I already know they're going to bury the shit out of CM Punk and they're going to put him in a garbage ass match against Cody, a useless match that he doesn't need to be. He needs to be in a main event match for the championship.
That could still be a big match, though.
If Steph isn't good and he has to vacate the title, and let's say he wins the Rumble, that could easily be the main event match.
I felt like with the Seth Rollins injury, they should have took the belt off of him, and then whoever the winner
heals
was,
up and he's fine. Like Brian just said, if they're predicting a month, I don't think WWE would have been like, yeah, hold on until like Mania, and if you're not good, we're just gonna take it off you. I think the doctors obviously give him a full breakdown on like, all right,
he's got the John Cena recovery, man.
Oh my God. The Rumble Cena.
No issue, man. No, I wouldn't put it past Seth Rollins to come back and be well. I'm pretty sure they got enough doctors in that week last week to be like, hey, what's the injury? What's this? They probably did 10 million MRIs. What's the time frame on this? What's the maximum rehab we can do to get you back in a month and a half or so and make sure you're good for WrestleMania? I'm pretty sure they can do that in this day and age, because it's not like back in the day, like an MCL tear would take you out for like a year and some change. Like maybe even 10 years ago, probably you would have been out. But now in this day and age of medicine, and especially with Seth's response to it, the way they didn't take the belt off of him, it seems like he's good to go. So I feel like with WWE, I feel like they're in a good place with that. And their history and track record shows with injuries that they're pretty good at managing those comebacks.
Sometimes too good, because I remember when Daniel Bryan was having issues at first, and like he would be like in these matches, and then like he would land on his head, and then they would call the match off, but Daniel Bryan was perfectly fine, but they were just trying to like look out for him. So in agreeing to agree with Daniel, like if they knew but before Monday that he wasn't going to make it, they would have just made it official right then and there. So I think they're going to trust him to be back.
I'm not gonna lie. If at first I'm gonna be like, this is a bullshit injury, because if Gunther and Imperium are gonna attack him right now, then he's definitely cleared.
I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, most like that's what I was thinking too. I was like, either if they attack him, it's either to write him off or he's okay. But they didn't do either, so I was like, okay, okay. I guess they're gonna try to rehab it, but yeah, speaking for Gunther, who's aiming for that top spot in the Royal Rumble, and with Imperium behind him, Gunther, as I always say, his promo work before, because we didn't really know of him as a character, right? As Gunther Walter in NXT, it was kind of like he was just a powerhouse. He was taking people apart. But over the past year and a half, ever since he's had this Intercontinental Championship, his character has come out as well as anybody on the roster, as in character improvement. I can't say much about what Gunther's doing, man. He's incredible. He's
the
incredible.
Best heel in the business right now, hands down. Best heel.
Your rebuttal, Dan. Your rebuttal.
There has been a heel since 2020 who has been champion.
Where is he?
Hold up, John. Let me clarify. Best heel in the business, or best consistent heel, meaning you see him all the time.
Best consistent heel, best heel champion. I'm telling you, he's got it all. And this is one thing that I was telling Daniel. All right, Roman Reigns. Whenever he has his matches, I've seen his matches. They're great because of the crowd reaction. You know how crowds make matches. Now, in ring performance, Gunther hasn't had a dud in I don't know how long. All his matches have been premium, and they've been so good that even though he's a heel, people still cheer for the match. That's how good his matches are. Every single match. He's had the match with Miz. That was an amazing match. Way better than what Roman had with
that was my example. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, way better. He just left.
He got that frustrated with the crowd.
Because I said the Miz match was
we are not comparing Roman Reigns nearly 1,000-day reign over main events of 4 ongoing into 5 WrestleManias to Gunther and the Miz. We will not do that. We will not.
But Dan, you're telling me, okay, I
love Gunther. I love Gunther as a heel. I love his ring work. I'm a big fan when he was Walter. But we cannot sit here as a wrestling publication and sit here and have the audacity to say Gunther and the Miz is better than anything Roman Reigns is.
No.
Try to input that as
even Roman versus Logan Paul.
Yeah, I definitely would put that above Hogan.
Just because of that one spot, you're gonna tell me that match was way better?
That match was horrible. It was not.
Roman Reigns has sold out arenas.
Not Roman Reigns.
Did not continue.
The WWE has. The WWE has, not Roman.
Not Roman.
Yeah, people were there to see other people, but Roman.
Yeah, exactly. Now you putting somebody
so when Austin was champ, people were there to see Tonka Michinuka. Huh?
Austin wasn't the only profitable talent on that roster. It was. He was number one. The other people, they was there to see other people too.
You got to remember when Stone Cold became Stone Cold, Bret Hart was still there. Then obviously he left. Shawn Michaels, DX. So obviously they left. The Rock became prominent. So it wasn't just Stone Cold. Just like you say, Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, the head of the table. He's not the head of the table, but obviously he he main evented. He did all these things. I know you like to point that out, Dan, but like I said, as a matter of fact, when he only defends his championship when he wants to or whenever he's available.
Because he's the main attraction.
No, he's not. He's not.
It's old.
I take Rhea Ripley over him right now. Rhea Ripley's the main attraction.
She hasn't defended her title all the time.
Yeah, she has. She defended it. What was it, like 2 weeks ago?
I understand that, but she hasn't defended it all the time. She's missed a couple pay-per-views here and there. But again, it's old school booking with Roman Reigns. You didn't see the champion on every show. And let's be honest, with him not being there all the time, it's given other storylines time to breathe. It's given other guys to shine. It's made the star of LA Knight.
No, but that's okay. Yeah, that made
there's benefits. There's benefits for not having your champion on television all the time. I know we had the era of Brock Lesnar where Brock Lesnar would show up once every 3 to 4 months.
That's where I was going. But that's where it went. No,
this is different.
But when Brock does it, it's a problem. But when Roman
does it, Roman does it, it's beautiful.
Because when Brock was doing it, it was the same fucking stick with Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman comes out and talks about Brock Lesnar.
Who does Roman have? Who does Roman have by his side?
It was the same stick.
Who does Roman have by his side?
Roman has the bloodline.
Oh my God! Here we stop it.
Stop it. So now we're just gonna crap on the hottest story in wrestling for the past 2.5 years.
Yeah. The hottest story right now.
Oranges, you like. All of a sudden, Jey Uso's story arc doesn't matter. Jimmy Uso's story arc doesn't matter. Solo's arc doesn't matter. All of a sudden, Sami Zayn's arc doesn't matter.
Well, he's hurt.
All that stuff just didn't happen.
Who says it doesn't matter? It's just saying.
I'm just saying.
But this is what you're saying. You're literally in the same boat of what happened with Brock. But with Brock, it was
I'm
crap.
saying the Brock.
He's still with Paul,
I'm saying
same
Brock,
thing. And now Roman, it's different.
I'm saying Brock didn't have the story that Roman had.
Oh, come on. No.
Challenge everybody. What are you talking about?
He was dominated. He dominated John Cena. Remember that? Nobody beat John Cena that fast.
But those, again, there was no storyline. There was no storyline involved in those.
Yes, there was. Yes,
there was. They built it up. What are you talking about?
Brock would disappear. Brock would disappear for 2 weeks.
What do you think Roman's doing?
Yeah. Okay, and the funny thing, look, Roman has beaten everybody on SmackDown. What do you think Brock did? Why do you think for the longest time we're like, who could actually dethrone Brock?
Thank you.
And then we got to the point of Drew McIntyre. Look at Drew. Look at his stature. If he already dismantled John Cena, Randy, Daniel, like all these people, there was just nobody there that could dethrone him. That's why he was champ for so long.
Thank you. Absolutely. You see, look, he's already tired.
How dare you?
As I said, we are not going to sit here and disrespect the tribal chief Roman Reigns. We cannot sit here as
we have our own voices, Dan. We have
and disrespect one of the longest reigns in 30 years. That's what we're gonna do here as a wrestling publication because we're tired of.
Did I not say this earlier in the year? I was like, this Roman story is gonna drag out too long. I called it probably before the stuff with Jay happened. I was like, what are they gonna do after that?
And I've said it on the times too. There were times when Roman should have lost the belt. There were times when he should have lost the belt. Drew McIntyre.
That one time.
That's the spot. That's the spot I think we all can agree with that he should have lost.
Yeah, Drew.
Drew. So there's not points in times when I'm not saying the bloodline storyline has been perfect. I'm not saying everything is gravy. But what I'm saying is the fact that it has been able to carry on this long, it has been as consistent with Roman Reigns, and it has created multiple avenues for people. When Sammy comes back, he's going to be hot. Cody Rhodes' story isn't tied with Roman Reigns.
But you got to remember, okay, so it's not just the bloodline. It's just the factions in general because our truth now is a megastar all of a sudden because of Judgment Day. So
let's be honest. He's given Judgment Day a little bit more legs to stand on.
He's been doing great. He's been doing
for better or for worse, because I know some people don't like the comedy aspect and they feel like some guys are getting turned out of it. We love it.
I love it.
He should be Final Four in the Rumble.
I pray he's Final Four. I pray.
Yo, he has to.
With Damian Priest and
they can't do that.
Maybe a Gunther. And
he's gonna have his moment. He's gonna have his moment in the Rumble for sure.
Oh yeah,
but he can't be Final Four, man.
Give our truth his flowers.
Yes.
Give him that Kofi moment.
Yeah, but man, speaking of Kofi, how far from grace did he fall, man? It's sad to see.
I think Big E had an interview. It
was an old school clip. It was from Talking Smack.
Yeah, and he was talking with The Miz, and he was like, "Yo, The Miz, you have been given all these opportunities." Whereas Kofi Kingston was not given those opportunities and to get squashed. He didn't like the fact that Brock Lesnar squashed him to win the title.
Yeah, me neither.
And I think everyone hated it.
Everyone hated that.
So I think they were just going back and forth on that. But yeah, Kofi Kingston, and I think those guys are okay with it, right? It's different if you never had that moment. And there was looking at points in times where it looked like he wasn't going to have that moment.
Oh yeah, no.
See, to me, it wasn't even the fact that he just got squashed. It was the fact that he got squashed, and then that same night they moved on to another feud with Cain Velasquez of all fucking people. That's what made it worse.
There's no issues with Brock Lesnar, right? There's no issues with Brock Lesnar. His story is fine. His story.
Because Roman was always perfect before this Roman.
You want to know who Roman Reigns is not going to be fighting? Cain Velasquez. That's who he's not going to be
fighting Cain.
Roman Reigns fights top tier talent. Okay, that is who he faces.
And we all overlooked that what's it called, that Brock Lesnar's got to fight somebody at Mania, and I think it's going to be Gunther. I know we're
that
hoping
would be a
Gunther
sick match.
Yeah,
it is a match that we want.
Yeah, actually, I predicted that a couple of episodes ago, not necessarily for the IC title, but if it has to be involved, that's to be involved. I mean Brock and Gunther. I think they had a temporary moment in last year's.
Oh my god!
Yeah. So the crowd was on his feet for it.
And Gunther has said that he wants to face Brock Lesnar in interviews. He has said that. So if Brock Lesnar's in the Royal Rumble, along with all these guys that are going to be in the Royal Rumble, there's so many
angles.
WWE.
I feel like Brock is going to eliminate Gunther. That's what's going to happen. Brock's going to eliminate Gunther, and then Gunther's going to get mad. He's going to go in, attack Brock, and then Imperium will eliminate Brock.
And set it up perfectly.
For Mania. I'm telling you, if not Mania, they'll probably set it. No, it has to be a Mania match. It's too big. And remember,
it's not going to show up any other time.
No. And Triple H said that he wants this to be the biggest Mania ever. So obviously, you have to, Rock Roman, maybe a Cody Punk for the championship. Pray to God, and then and a Gunther Brock. That's the only way to go. Honestly.
Yeah, like it's gonna get crazy. It's gonna get crazy for sure. Get out of here. I don't know why that came up on my screen. All right, we're back. But yeah, it's going to get interesting in heading into the Rumble as we can now start making